Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at another legend team with a spicy Pokemon of Tapu Koko from Regional, which I usually showcase on my channel as well. They always have like fun teams. Look at Tapu Koko, it's spinning around. Let's spin it right into the first battle here. We're going to have the lead of Zygarde, which is okay-ish, but I tried to catch a crunch here, I think, soon, but actually, no, never mind. I decided to go for an Awkward Tail here on the first battle. This is going to get shielded because I expected the Spatial Rent, which I don't have because I don't have the ticket, or like I didn't have the ticket to rate this Pokemon, so I still got a Shandon, so I had to build it. But here we're gonna see the matchup against the Dialga now. For the Zygarde, great for us to get rid of this Pokemon because of course the ground typing can be a little bit tricky for our Tapu Koko. But like this, we can use a shield and align ourselves while keeping energy on our Dialga, which is really important. So great start here into the first game. We're going to see the Ho-Oh swapping in, which is going to have to take a charge move here from me, and I think after this I can swap into the Tapu Koko, force them to go for a Brave Bird. They would have not been able to reach the Sacred Fire, and with this we can resist it, which doesn't really look like a resisted move, but we can take a look at the Lugia, which has to take a Thunder. I don't think that they're going to run Thunder on this Pokemon. Maybe they did, who knows. Thunderbolt is usually recommended. I like Thunder a little bit more now where Nature's Madness is going to be the cheapest move anyway, and Tapu Koko can clean up the first game already. So, this team can struggle quite a little bit against Dialga. Actually, I would recommend you to stay in the lead for like 3 fast moves and then swap out into your own Dialga, because it's going to allow you to get some damage onto the opponent. And if you want to, you can then guarantee a realign in the 2-shield scenario, which might be interesting for you as a Dialga user. If you go for more than 3 turns, basically, it can be a little bit tricky in terms of you getting to another charge move before they can go for a Roar of Time. Here, of course, we didn't really do this, which is a little bit awkward, but still, they are going to be in an awkward spot as well. And here, if I go for a Dragon Breath with my Palkia, I would be able to knock them out before they go for a charge move, but my game lagged, and this is going to cost me a shield, which is really unfortunate, because I would have went out here in a great position. I swap out into the ground type of Zygarde, and they swap out just in case for whatever reason, which is going to be great for us, because now Tapu Koko can get the opponent low, and we are running the Draco Media over Spatial Rent. And I kind of want to take a look here at the side real quick, because this is going to impact the matchup quite a bit in a positive way for us, because as you kind of know, Draco Media still does more damage than Spatial Rent does against something like a Zygarde. And so here we're going to be able to go up now against the opponent, going to be able to go for the Draco Media, and Palkia is going to be able to hit this move and going to be able to one-shot the opponent here. This is going to be a good game. And I think this quite mattered. It definitely mattered, because Spatial Rent only does 47% against the opponent's Zygarde. So they were basically already winning this matchup, but a Draco Media does 75% damage, so quite a lot more. So again, actually having Draco Media on the Palkia is not always a bad thing. Like, sometimes it's definitely going to help you, which was the case here. But here we're going to have another matchup against the Dialga, which is okay for us, as we can reach another Iron Head, which I'm totally happy about. As the opponent lets this move go through, we can align ourselves. It's going to be a Ho-Oh again here, which is going to get the full farm down. I'm going to go into my Palkia at this point, I think, because I expect that they're going to have own Palkia in the back. The current comment team with Ho-Oh in the lead is Sesop, Dialga, Palkia in the back. This is basically why I decided to go into my Palkia here instead of trying to maybe take a resisted Brave Bird, because of course our backline matchup is just better. We can see here that we are going to be correct with this. Palkia is going to be lurking in the back here, and we can use a shield on the Awkward Tail. Awkward Tail is going to do some very solid damage against us. Would have not knocked us out either, of course. Like, we are still going to have a little bit of bulk on this Pokemon while we're very, very squishy. We're going to be able to just hit them very hard here, and we can try to reach a Thunder in time, which we can, which is just so lovely, allowing us to get an easy knockout. And again, the Tapu Koko is going to be able to win this game. I actually played, by the way, an entire day with this team, and I had a lot of fun with this, especially, like, there were some battles where you have basically 0 chance, and there were some battles where you completely destroy the opponent. And so, I don't know, like, it is going to be a little bit of an unbalanced team, because your lead is going to be very weak against the Dialga, and the Dialga is in general a little bit tricky for this team. But other than the Dialga matchup here, actually this team does make quite a lot of sense. You're going to have a lead that's going to be great against Landorus. You have a Sesop here of the Dialga, which is going to be baiting out the Landorus while still kind of forcing a shield from them as well, which is going to be great. And you're going to have quite a very solid build team with that, because like otherwise Landorus is going to be a very big issue for our electric type in the back. But as you can see here, we're going to match up against Zacian, which is going to be a tricky matchup for us. They're forced to go for the Play Rough, which is not enough to knock us out, but we barely miss out on the Iron Head, which is really unfortunate, because now they can still go for a charge move here. Play Rough is coming through. I cannot really use a shield. It is going to be doing a ton of damage, definitely, but we still maybe have a chance here. Let's see what they're going to have in the back. It is going to be, let's see, the opponent's Dialga. What a surprise. I would imagine that they're going to let this move go through because they expect the spatial rent from me, and that's why they're exactly going to do this, and so I can go for the awkward tier. Now we're the debuffed, this is still going to chunk quite a bit. They're most likely going to use a shield now anyway, and they do, and so I can try to reach another charge move in time. I'm going to let this move go through though, which I don't know why. I think they had a move on the Mewtwo maybe stored, so I'm gonna still get a charge move off. But I think this was maybe a mistake for me, because now I think they can just farm me all the way down. So maybe I should have used the shield no matter what there. I should have. That's kind of unfortunate. Next opponent, we're going to have the Landorus here, perfectly aligned for us. Let's see what they're going to do. They're staying in, which is lovely for us, because also, if we get some Dragon Breath damage on them, basically one Nature's Madness is going to be enough to knock them out. So I'm happy about this. They're swapping out into a standard Tyranitar. Remember, we're kind of close to leaderboard rating here right now, and they are playing a Tyranitar that is not even Shadow, which is kind of wild. And honestly, it's doing quite well for them here. Smackdown is going to smack me down quite a bit. I can still go for an Iron Head, but if they use a shield, I'm forced to use a shield as well, because they're going to get to another Brutal Swing very soon. And so, like, it's doing quite a decent job here, I would say. We're going to be able to reach, use a shield here as the opponent goes for the Brutal Swing. I can go for my own Iron Head, and so now, like, if they use a shield, I can farm them down. They're mostly not going to use a shield with it because of this, and yes, they won't. But they're swapping out now into a Palkia. We are staying in for a little bit, which is a little bit annoying sometimes, but we kind of have to align ourselves correctly, because otherwise we basically have no chance of winning this game. They can still get a move off, and we have to swap out now, getting an Awkward Tail onto that Landorus. Hopefully they're going to let this move go through. They decide to use no shield, and that's great, because now I can still try to reach another charge move here. I'm forced to go for the Awkward Tail, of course, as I'm not going to reach a Dracomedia, and I don't have the Spatial Rent, but we're still going to get them low, and maybe that's low enough for the Volt Switch. Let's take a look at this. It is, and we can win this game. Worst possible lead. Literally, like, there's nothing else that we can do here than swapping out, and this is still not really a great matchup for us either, but it's still okay. We can go for an Iron Head. Iron Head is going to be able to most likely get a shield here. Let's see, it does get a shield, and they can go for their own charge move just before we reach the next Iron Head here as well. So we're gonna decide to use a shield. Let's see what they're gonna do here. They decide to go for the Disarming Voice, and they decide to not swap out. We can go for another Iron Head, and it's very likely that they're going to use another shield actually, which is kind of interesting. I think they will survive the move still. But we can go now into our Tapu Koko, get some energy. We are forced to use a shield here. Unfortunate, we only got one fast move in so far, but let's see what's going to be in the bag. It's going to be the Hisuian Ivalock. This is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. Maybe I should have tried to go for a charge move first, but I kind of wanted to have the alignment more on my side. So yeah, we can go for an Awkward Tail. Awkward Tail is going to do some super effective damage, but they can just debuff me the entire time. And as you can see, they are kind of low. But I kind of don't really want to knock them out, because then they just get more energy with the Primarina. So I decide to overfarm by quite a bit here. And they are also kind of just giving up on the Everluck, knowing about the kind of matchup it's going to be having in the bag. So we can go for the Dracomedia, which is double debuffed. It is not going to do enough damage, of course, but they have in the bag a Palkia. And so I still have some hope here that we can still win this game. I go straight for the Nature's Madness, getting a ton of damage onto them, and I get perfectly 3 Volt Switches now here, which is going to allow us to get to another charge move, and this is going to seal the deal, as we can knock them out. A Thunder would knock them out here as well, but they decide to forfeit before. Next opponent, great lead again. We're going to have the Ho-Oh, which is perfect. They swap out into the Lugia, and look at this. They are not prepared for Tapu Koko. Double weak already. We can go up to a Thunder and try to CMP tie on the Arrow Blast, which is gonna be lovely. As they decide to use a shield, I can decide to use a shield, because they're apparently pretty weak to Tapu Koko. And this is the thing as well, there's basically no complete hard answer to Tapu Koko. Like, you're always going to be able to hit something, it feels like. So if you get out of this matchup with a little bit of energy, which we will be able to do, you're most likely going to be able to hit something else. In comes the Ho-Oh. So what we can try to do is we can go for a Thunder. Do we see a shield from the opponent? Do they going to let this move go through? They let this move go through. They still survive, which I did not expect. But it is a Tapu Koko showcase, so why not go for a shield, which will allow us to reach another Nature's Madness. And this drops the opponent's defense and gets the final shield here. I could swap out already, but I kind of want to see if I get to another one. I do not. It doesn't matter. We win. Like, there's nothing the opponent can do. They realize it as well now, and we can move on to the next opponent. Worst possible lead after Primarina is most likely the Tapu Bulu, especially as they can also kind of win this matchup if they want to. I can get a shield advantage if I want to as well, which is kind of nice here at least for this matchup, but they swap out anyway into their own Dialga. So I'm forced to go for the bait. Or off time is also an option here, but I was not too sure if I maybe get to another Iron Head in time, but I am not going to be able to do so. So we're going to go ahead and go into our Palkia. Palkia is going to have a great time here as well. We can try to go for the Aqua Tail eventually, but they can go for the Raw of Time, which we are forced to use a shield on. I know that Palkia are going to get aligned later on against the Tapu Bulu again, but we cannot really play anything here. And I feel like this is most likely going to be a loss for us, as we can catch the move here, which we didn't want to. I thought I would be able to farm him down in time. We are not, and so basically I can forfeit at this point. There's not really anything I can do. Next opponent, we're going to have the Mewtwo in the lead. Shadow Mewtwo is honestly, for me, way easier to deal with compared to the normal variant. I think the normal variant is just way better than the Shadow variant for Mewtwo, for the good reason that the Shadow variant is just taking more damage from Dragon Breath. And Dragon Breath is just like such a huge deal in this meta that you're just going to get farmed down way easier with the Shadow variant of Mewtwo. And I think the damage doesn't really help you a lot of times, at least, because most Pokemon need 2 size tracks anyway, so yeah, it is what it is. I feel like if you play the Shadow Mewtwo, at least Shadow Ball does make a little bit more sense, while for the normal one, I really enjoy the Focus Blast right now. I have to hope that this is going to be an Iron Head, by the way. It is an Iron Head, which is lucky for us. But if this was a Draco Media as well, we would have definitely went down. But let's take a look what they're going to go back into. They're going to go into the opponent's Mewtwo here, which is going to be great. We can go for an Iron Head, gonna get them low enough that we can just Dragon Breath them down. So they're forced to go into their Palkia. We can go for that Roar of Time, which I don't know if we even used prior today. But this is going to get shielded anyway. We can swap into the Tapu Koko, and we should be hopefully able to reach our Nature's Madness in time. 2 Aqua Tails would knock us out, but we should be fine here, right? I don't know, like it always kind of looks like we wait for like 2 turns or something before the opponent goes for their charge move, but this is going to be a little bit of a trickier one now. So, yeah, we can go to our own Palkia. I can reach an Aqua Tail. That's lovely, isn't it? We can still see if we can still win this game with that. We can now go ahead and farm them down. In comes the Mewtwo. We can go ahead and get some more Dragon Breath damage off here, and we can win this game. Next opponent. What a ho-oh that is. That's going to be great. They swap out into their Palkia. Could have swapped also into my other Pokemon and my Tapu Koko, but it's going to be okay here. Just using 1 shield is going to be fine, as Aqua Tail is coming through, which is a little bit more annoying because I get a little bit more damage onto me, so great play by the opponent. Spatial Rend would have been, of course, a little bit more annoying here, but we get a ton of energy, and so I can try to go ahead and go for an actually straight up Raw of Time. Let's see if we're going to be able to hit it this time around. We are not. The opponent decides to use a shield. Can we reach another charge move in time? We just sadly die on that Iron Head, which of course doesn't really matter too much, especially if we can get an Aqua Tail off. And this is lovely, as the Aqua Tail is going to connect, gonna get some damage in, and as you can see, I was catching the Brave Bird. They're of course gonna go for the Brave Bird here. This is going to be resisted damage, and now we're going to be in a fairly decent spot. This is so kind of hilarious because yeah, basically they were at 100 energy, and like we were able to catch the move and knock them out with the Volt Switch that we were able to sneak through as well, forcing the opponent to go for a charge move here as well against our Tapu Koko, and this allows us to now farm them all the way down with a Palkia. That's a good game, the opponent knows it, and we can move on to the final one for today. This team was definitely a lot of fun to play. Of course, it's a little bit more of a trickier one to use against, for example, Dialga, which is very common right now. But still, this team was a lot of fun to play. Like, I have to say, I love Tapu Koko in this meta. So if you want to play something that is still decent and has a little bit of a funny aspect to it, Tapu Koko is definitely the way to go. Here, we're going to see the opponent going for a Sacred Fire, which we still survive. I think the undercharge is one for sure. We're going to be able to go actually into our Tapu Koko. I think I tried to farm them all the way down. I decided to use a shield here. It's going to be a Sacred Fire no matter what. It is going to be actually a Brave Bird, which is going to be great, as we can now even get a better farm down. In comes the opponent's next Pokemon, being the Dialga, which you can kind of wall here. Like, this is kind of the same as with Tapu Bulu. You can just knock them out with 2 Nature's Madnesses, and that's kind of what we're gonna try to go for, while we can catch a move here. Iron Head is gonna get caught onto our Palkia. This is perfect. We can see that we can do a ton of damage, and so they're kind of not going to be able to go for another charge move in time. We can farm them down. It is going to be the Awkward Tail coming through against the opponent. I think this was their own Palkia now, which is still going to be a little bit scary. And they use a shield, and so this game is over. Nothing they can do anymore. They would have not been able to do anything otherwise anyway, so it's going to be fine. But good game there. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.